Let's get a self-care, self-love message. I usually use the Neo Tarot because it's such a gorgeous self-care, self-love deck with really good practical and spiritual tips in it. After the eclipse, I feel like the energies have become lighter, but you're still in recovery. If you are finding this message and it resonates, this collective, your body might still be releasing energies. You might feel pain in your body. You might feel exhausted from processing emotional stuff, or sort of integrating or purging, working through self-limiting beliefs, intrusive thoughts, mindsets that don't serve you anymore. So let's see what the cards have for us today for self-care and self-love. It is becoming more and more necessary to prioritize our mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical health. And it's not something that we can do when we have a chance anymore. It has to be a priority. So let's see. First we have the Judgment in reverse. And then we have the Hanged Woman or Man. Okay, and then at the bottom of the deck we have, this is the Nine of Swords, the Nine of Wands in reverse. So let's see what the message is. So the message for the Judgment card in reverse is, trust doesn't come naturally to most of us, including trusting that everyone's doing their best. Fear and doubt can make us ask, what if I'm wrong? But wrong judgments only occur when we're shutting ourselves off, acting from a place of bias or ego instead of getting in touch with our inner spiritual compass. I feel like it is so difficult to know what is truth and what is not lately, because truth can be very subjective, and how we see and understand things can be clouded and judged and clouded by our own ego, our own wounds, our own pain, and our own experiences. And this is where empathy comes in. If we can't really empathize with someone unless we can put ourselves in their shoes and understand where they're coming from. But at the same time, you have to be able to do that for yourself, because you can't have empathy for someone else and not have empathy for yourself. And there will then often be conflict of interest, or my pain versus your pain, how I'm wronged versus you, how you're wronged. Understanding why someone is hurting you doesn't make it any easier, in the sense that it doesn't make you feel any less pain, but it can help you process what you're experiencing so that you can understand what you need to do for you, and what you need to do in the situation, because we don't want to hurt someone else because they're hurting us, or because we're hurting, we don't want to hurt someone else, but often that can happen. So it's about discerning. She's got this eye here, the third eye. It's about discerning how we feel versus what is real. What is our ego versus what is higher consciousness, a higher understanding of anything. Don't resist change or connection. We are all seeking the same liberation via many paths. It's, there's this thing that happens where we've been hurt and we don't know how to let people in, or we are afraid, we can't trust people because our trust has been broken. But we still all, as human beings, have that need. And so we might need to, take a pause, or the universe can put us on a pause in some area. Like, you might get sick physically because you need time away from work, because you're having all this conflict at work, and that conflict is causing your immune system to be down, or you to be tired, and so you get sick. And so that time away, that if you give yourself that time to not just go into work even though you're sick, but actually stay home and recover, you might unpack certain things within your psyche, within your ego, or just realize, okay, maybe this, I shouldn't be doing this anymore, or maybe this isn't working for me and I need to speak up about it, or I need to reevaluate this situation and see how it can be better instead of just going and going and going. Let's see what the Hanged One says. But first, use your imagination to tap into your higher all-knowing self in a public setting. Look at the people around you from a distance, but don't stare. Can you see the real them, the higher self inside them? Ask your higher self to witness and send unconditional love to their higher self. How does it feel? With strangers as your mirror, ask yourself what parts of yourself you're ready and willing to wake up to. And I think this is a nice exercise to do, because around people that we know, that know us and that we've known for a long time, it's not always easy to see our higher self or their higher self, because they might trigger certain things in us that is not the highest version of who we are, or we end up playing a role in that dynamic with someone, whether it's just a conversation or someone you have to be around all the time. You play the role you've played before, even when you've now shed parts of yourself and the dynamic has changed. It's hard to now you and them play a different role, a healthier role, a better role in each other's lives and in an interaction. It's often easier to find a different perspective with strangers. So the Hanged Woman says, when you have a different perspective from everyone else, you can struggle with it or accept yourself, letting go in order to be free of fear or judgment. In fact, the Hanged Woman, traditionally called the Hanged Man, is asking you to trust yourself fully and act from a place of knowing grace. When you welcome the cards you've been dealt, own your limitations and slow down, then you can cultivate real humility, peace, and spiritual integration. That's when profound transformations can occur. The self-care message here is, there's nothing we can do to transcend our bodies or be free of our physical form in this life. We're in these vessels. So learn to fully accept your body. Understand its movements and capabilities as well as its pain points by doing 20 minutes of gentle stretching or yoga when you wake up. Bend your body to your comfort level. Breathe through what feels restricted. And take pleasure in how a sacred, simple physical act can feel. There's an affirmation here that says, with stillness and trust, I surrender in order to truly evolve. I feel like this Nine of Swords in reverse is allowing yourself to put down all the things that you have to constantly come up against, or set it aside, or allow yourself to soften, find spaces where you can be at ease. Because if you're constantly dealing with the same difficult thing again and again, all you see is that difficult thing. And internally, you are building up resistance emotionally, mentally, and physically. It takes a toll on you. And we often need space away, or to be in another position, another situation, so that we can see things a little differently. And then if we need to come back, revisit something, then we can have more emotional balance and a fresh perspective on what's happening. I think the last message here is to not wait until you get completely burnt out and overwhelmed to give yourself space and time of ease, and to release what you've already processed and integrated. Release anger, release pain, whether that's physically, emotionally, mentally, or spiritually. Give yourself the space and the time to release. Your higher self or the universe is going to stop you and give you space and time to do that if you don't do that for yourself. You deserve rest, you deserve ease, you deserve to relax, you deserve to be at peace. And sometimes you have to make that time and that space to do that, and learn to know when you need it and be able to give that to yourself. Have a lovely day.